Good morning. I am going to start with applying some of my oils before we begin. However, this particular day we have a brand new month, and it is the middle of a very big holiday in the U.S., so we may have our live numbers may be a little lower. However, it does not affect where we are, where I am at the moment. So I'm going to start with higher unity because I'm truly choosing to make certain that I am staying connected. This is a turbulent time, would you agree? So just pick up whatever essential oil you may have chosen. I happen to also have right here Valour too. And Valour may be a perfect blend for us to utilize at this particular time. So I just have one bowl sitting here this morning, and I'm going to just give it a few taps and let you listen to these frequencies and draw them in, intending to connect fully with the Creator, with your source, whatever created your reality and your environment. So this bowl is not as loud as some of the larger ones. This is the one that I got in Tibet in 1998. However, it sounds so glorious right here where I am. So once again, just listen and draw in these frequencies. Once again, I think, yes, it is right at the top of the hour. Happy Sunday, or whatever time you are joining us. I hope that this has been a wonderful week for you. It has been an interesting week, certainly for those of us in Asia. I had thought of the title for this video, Expectations, about a week ago, before we heard our latest news. And I thought how appropriate this is, because expectations, all of us here in Asia expected things to change on the 1st of July. How many of you really were looking to this particular point and feeling that everything would be better, expecting? Well, then we got the wonderful news that that was not going to happen. In fact, not only would things remain as they have been in recent weeks, they would be stricter again. And it's kind of deflating, would you agree? How many of you felt fully deflated when you read that news that things were going to be much more different? And this is why I really thought expectations. We each had expectations of things changing in the way that we personally viewed that they would change. So expectations can be kind of a scary thing in some ways. And I got to thinking about, what does this word really mean? And I thought the first word that came to me was anticipation. And for me, anticipation seems a little bit more happy, a little bit more upbeat than expectations. For some reason, I feel expectation is more serious. Anticipation might be more joyous. Like, wow, I'm anticipating something really exciting to happen. And so I began thinking of it in those terms, and other words that I have associated with expectations or even outcomes, or even anticipation, is outcome. And the outcomes are often a conflict between our perception and our reality, because each of us has our own stuff that we're bringing to every single situation. And the outcome may be quite different from what we anticipated, what we expected. So looking at this again with other words that I thought about were potential. Oh, now that to me is a much more positive way of thinking. And also the word assumptions came up, which led me in a totally different direction. So focusing, I'm feeling like I'm all over the place this morning, and I will attempt to focus and zero in on just a couple of short things that we can all think about, that you may choose to journal, because the potential of every experience is amazing. And when we expect something and the outcome seems quite different from what we expected, it actually may have closed off some things that may not have been positive for us and opened up a whole new set of possibilities. So that's interesting, because I kept choosing the hologram of possibilities this week, of recognizing the potential possibilities. So this might be something that we all can pay attention to. In terms of not making the assumptions about the outcome, but rather being more open to the potential that is within each thing that happens to us. So rather than feeling like a victim, we can understand better how to be more flexible. Now, Stephen's probably sitting over there laughing when I'm using the word flexible, because I openly admit that my life has been very rigid, conforming to what things seemed like the correct order should be. And when the bump in the road came, I immediately recalculated and put into effect a whole new set. Well, the fact is that we don't have control. That is all about control, and we don't have control. And when we truly understand and realize that we don't have control, we don't know the whole picture, it's up to us to live in this moment. I believe there is a blend. Gary provided this present time blend, which I'm going to use right now. Wow, I'm opening a brand new bottle of present time, because living in the present moment is the greatest thing that any of us can do. What brought us to this moment is over. It brought us here, so it's a wonderful thing that we got into this present moment. However, what we do right now is what's going to take us forward. So making assumptions about the things that are going to happen may not be really the most productive thing. Productive, another big word for me. You know, I kept coming up with all sorts of different words that have been just flowing around in my brain, just absolutely bombarding me. And it's all about awakening to the new possibilities, awakening to new ways of doing things. In fact, I grabbed this at the last moment, pulled it out of my pile of it. I'm happy that you cannot see all of the oils that are sitting here. But the awaken blend, awaken to the possibilities. Things are not the way they used to be. And likely will not go back to the way they used to be. However, the potential is that they will be even better outcomes. Many of you know that I have said this often. Always, always believe that something wonderful is about to happen. Now, what is the difference in expectation and belief? That churned around in my brain a lot this week as well, because expectation is generally based upon our experience, our baggage, what we are bringing to any situation. We're looking at it with those glasses. Oh, I wish I had gotten out some of my colored glasses today. However, belief is that knowing, that understanding that we do not know the whole picture, and the belief, the trust that things are going according to a positive plan, and that we can be part of that unfolding of something, of a miracle, unfolding of something far better than we could have thought about doing at an earlier time. So as we are moving along, instead of having expectations of how others are going to respond, we can focus inward on how we can respond, how we can move forward, awaken to new possibilities, being flexible according to those things that we cannot control, because most of what is happening we have no control over. So again, just paying attention. One of the biggest things I was thinking about in terms of relationships, this assumptions, this came up, and it reminded me of the 4 agreements. How many of you have read the 4 agreements and even studied them and attempted to incorporate them into your life experience? Well, they seem so simple, but they're not. And that third one is all about assumptions. Don't assume anything. Don't assume anything, because what others are bringing to the situation has nothing to do with you. So when we assume something, assume the way someone will respond when we speak to them. Okay? We're looking at it from our side, and they may have a totally different set of things they're bringing to the situation. So relationships often have challenges because we assume somebody will respond in a particular way. Now, how many things do you do? Just think about this. You don't have to say anything. But when you're talking with yourself, when you're journaling, when you are meditating and really focusing on yourself and your connection with the source, how many things, how many situations have you made assumptions about the way someone else, what someone else would do if you did something? Now, the math person, I grew up thinking, if I do this, then this will happen. And if I do this, then I expect that something will happen. Well, this is true in some situations. However, in relationships and in many things now, in our new way of living, it is totally out of step. So it can cause guilt. Guilt for you, guilt for the other person in a relationship. It can cause resentment. I know if I expect somebody to, if I do something for someone and expect them to do something in return and they don't do it, it's really, really tough to get through that and not be resentful. So, and if I find that I'm the one who may have not done what I should have done, then boy, my biggest thing of all, that guilt. Guilt just comes in, and I really feel guilty. And some of us are very, very good about making other people feel guilty. So it's all about this expectation, this play back and forth. If I do this, this is going to happen. Our expectation of what is going to happen as a result. So interestingly, this is the hologram that I came up with this morning that I looked at, that I selected, and that is the sovereignty overcoming fear of rejection. How often are our expectations of the way that things have to be done associated, intertwined with our fear of rejection? And I'm looking at the single glyphs that are in here. We have the forgiveness glyph. Oh my goodness. Forgiving ourselves for what we have or have not done in any given situation. The authenticity glyph, lifting those veils of illusion, understanding who we are and allowing others to see us as we are. We are so confused so often about who we really are because we've played a part. It's as if we're actors on a stage, when in reality we're all individual, perfect beings created to do something magnificent. And then this third glyph of this hologram is the acceptance. That's the word that kept coming to me over and over again. Acceptance. And then I had to laugh when I selected this as the single glyph to added focus today. So, I mean, it's like double acceptance. So what are the single oils that anchor these particular glyphs? Well, the forgiveness, we also have one of Gary's amazing blends, forgiveness. But geranium single oil, cedar wood, and sacred frankincense and frankincense. So when I drew this, I got out both sacred frankincense and frankincense, and I have been really, really working with these two single oils, intending that I embrace who I am, embrace who others are, and allow each of us our journey. How much more harmonious, we have a blend for that too, how much more harmonious will our relationships be when we stop expecting others to do things in a certain way, when we start embracing ourselves for who we are, embracing others for who they are, and allowing each of us our own journey. Truly, truly, not one of us knows what the journey of another is. We forget, we overlook what our own, the things that we do have the ability to understand, and that is to focus inward, accepting who we are, our genuine, authentic self, not who we've been told or who we've attempted to be, but who we truly were created to be. So that may require a lot of release, and we have a beautiful blend. I know I have it right here somewhere. I have my grounding. I don't see it on here. It must be here. There we are. Oh, that's harmony. I picked it up and put it somewhere and can't find it. I've used it a lot. But lemon, how many of you have lemon that you apply frequently, intending, because lemon anchors that frequency of, freedom, which is the release. Lemon, that is citrine. I also have a citrine rock sitting here on my desk because this is one of my biggest things. And I think I told everyone last week that I've been swimming. I'm finally back into swimming again every day. And I focus on the journey of the glyphs as I'm swimming. I'll swim 2 lengths of each glyph, but with focus. And for some reason, over the last 2 weeks, these two, I found myself focusing on the acceptance glyph. And suddenly I realized I've swum 4 or 6 lengths, that I've gone far beyond what I was thinking, what I was intending to do, because I got hung up in realizing the acceptance, my lack of acceptance of myself and others, and the release, the letting go of our expectations of what others will do, letting go of our fears, our beliefs, and our ways of doing things. It was the expectations that I have gotten so hung up on, because I realize with examination, further examination, that expectation has been a really, really big thing, that thread that carries over through every aspect of what I do. So unlearning that, this glyph will also help us unlearn how to have those expectations. And as we combine it with this acceptance, this embracing who we are and who others are, then we can truly begin to have those relationships, to have a journey that we eagerly anticipate every step, even those steps that kind of shake us up because we didn't expect them. When we learn to accept them and allow new things to come in, then wow, here we are. Everything looks different. So as you go through this week, I challenge you to just spend some time. It may be in the middle of the night. That's when I get most of my my insights, because I awaken in the middle of the night. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on WhatsApp. I'm not on internet. I just am being and paying attention, breathing, connecting with the source, and feel that flow that comes in as you're doing this. So have a beautiful, happy week, letting go of the outcomes, using the expectation to transform into the excitement, the potential of what is available in this moment. And I'll see you next Sunday.